Here you can see our growth marketing canvas. It's a canvas and an exercise that helps you to really structure your growth, really structure your growth marketing or growth hacking process. And it's something that I really like to use a lot.
So you see three first blocks here: target audience, value proposition, and one metric that matters. These blocks, you should fill them in really detailed and sharp. Why? First block, target audience, it describes which ideal customer profile or company you want to reach with your campaigns. Really important. Be as detailed as possible. Why? Because it influences your value proposition. A value proposition describes the value you bring to that specific segment or that specific ideal customer profile. Really explains what the gains, the needs, the challenges are that you solve specifically or that you bring to that ideal customer profile. Really important. If that is not described well, all of your campaigns could fail because you think about the wrong, again, needs, challenges, pains this ideal customer profile has. Last but not least, the one metric that matters. That's a cup of tea of Nicholas. Right?
Yeah, I really like the one metric that matters, because if you do growth hacking, it's very easy to get lost. There are so many awesome tactics you could do, so many cool experiments, but the one metric that matters makes sure that you're really focused at achieving your end goal. So this one metric that matters, it's there you have to put in a number and a metric, and if that number and metric increases, your entire business increases.
Okay.
For example, this could be that by the end of the quarter, you want to have 4 new clients that are signed.
Okay. Yeah.
Then that's your one metric that matters, and everything you do, every experiment you do, at the end, it should make sure that that metric increases.
Okay.
What we then do is we put the one metric that matters here, and we try count back. If you want to have 4 signed customers, how many meetings do we need to have? If you have so many meetings, how many people do you have to reach to be able to get so many meetings?
Okay.
So to just give you a ballpark figure to see like how many people do we have to reach.
So a good example could be, I need these 4 new deals, but for these 4 new deals, I probably need maybe, I say, 20 meetings. To get these 20 meetings, I need a number of website visits, etc., etc.
Yeah, that could be some stuff that's in there. But really important key is the number that's right there, and everything you do should lead to increasing that number, ultimately.
Okay, really clear to me. So, okay, this is the first part. You really have to nail that, really.
Yeah, for me, it's really a prerequisite for growth.
Okay.
If you are not able to nail that one, then you're just like shooting with a shotgun. And I really like the sharpshooting approach and making sure that you know what you're doing. I'm a sniper, David.
Okay. Cool. Well, sniper, let's talk about the 6 other blocks, also really important ones. We see awareness, acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. And when you see these and you think about the previous canvas, the deal breakers, they match really well. So we will go into detail on all of these 6 phases. The first phase is the awareness phase. Again, you have to make sure that people know that you exist, right? And so a couple of examples could be like, you run ads, you do good SEO, you do some social media, you do cold mail outreach. And then what you also will see is you have specific metrics that you have to measure in this phase. Click-through rates, unique visits, engagement, reach, and all this stuff. Nicholas, maybe you have some other thoughts about that?
Yeah, it could be definitely also like guest blogging. It could be co-webinars that you're organizing. All these different kind of things that could really increase your awareness. And what I think is really important when you fill in this phase is that when you think of the experiment, you also write down the metric that you're going to use to track this.
Okay.
Because otherwise, like there exists like then you think of a lot of sexy ideas, but they're not testable. And you want to have like really small experiments that you think of today and then maybe implement tomorrow and know which metric that you're going to track and maybe have an idea. If I reach this amount, then it's going to be successful.
So it could be, for example, answering questions on Quora that will, with a link that will, for example, generate website visits that then link back to your one metric that matters.
Ultimately, right? It will indeed increase your one metric that matters.
Okay, so that you have to keep.
Yes, that's awareness. Okay. Let me talk a bit about acquisition maybe. Okay. So the awareness phase is to make sure that people know that you exist. But in the acquisition phase, I want to make sure that I know that you exist. I want to have your information, right? So in the acquisition phase, we're going to do all these kind of experiments to identify these potential people. So it could be that you run some ebooks there, that you do some webinars, that you have some other gated content, some chatbots, that they could subscribe to your newsletter. all these different tactics where people would leave their information, leave their details in exchange for some value that you give them. Okay. Again, there, don't forget to put in the metrics. For example, if you're experimenting with putting a newsletter on your website, measure how many new signups you get in there. Is it something that works for you? Do people really give their information? Yeah. Same with webinars, how many people attend, and after the webinar, how many people click through, and that kind of stuff. Really important to make it measurable.
It's typical that we see in startups and scale-ups that these two phases are the most important ones, right? Is that correct, or do you?
I think that's a bit correct, but it's also a bit of a misconception in startups. They really focus very hard on the awareness and acquisition, where in my opinion, they should also really focus on the activation and retention. It's when you have a user that's using your product, try to keep him, making happy, make sure that he keeps using your service, that he keeps on spending more, and it's often overlooked, David, but we will go into these phases.
Let's talk about activation.
Definitely.
Typically what I see is that, and then now I give an example of SaaS businesses, is that when a customer or a prospect comes onto the platform or software you're using, then it goes dead. And you said you did all this effort here, and then it's on your platform, and then it stops. And why is that? Because you did something not right. It's that maybe you're not in touch with him, or you forgot to send him onboarding emails, or you're not really monitoring his adoption rate. How is he using your product or your service? And typically you try to activate this customer, to make him aware that your product really has value, to give him that experience, right?
Definitely.
Nicholas, I mean, and this is often overlooked. I mean, often when they go in, then you forget about them. So once they are there, you have put all your marketing dollars to get them there. Definitely don't forget to help them with a tutorial, with a good onboarding experience, with a good onboarding flow. Really important. And then once they are on the platform and they pay for your service, we get to retention. We hear a lot about churn and stuff like that. Nicholas, maybe churn, retention?
Yeah, I think it's also very important. Like you talked in activation, getting them on your platform, creating that first wow moment. But in the retention phase, we're going to focus on getting them to come back. Yep. Like they signed up, but you want them that maybe tomorrow or next week that they keep on coming back. So in retention, we're going to think of different ways on how to reach these customers and make sure that they come back. Yep. It could be like email campaigns that you're running to nurture them. It could be notifications. It could be that you offer like a loyalty benefits. Like for example, like a bread place, they offer these cards. If you have 10 plus 1, you get 1 for free. That's a retention hack, because you want to have that free bagel, or you want to have that free bread. That's exactly. That's a retention hack. So all these different things, also retargeting ads and stuff are in there. These are all examples of in the retention phase, and you could measure them with your churn, your average order value, your repurchase rate, and so on.
Exactly.
So I will dive into revenue very quickly. Sure. So the revenue is when people are on your website or on your platform, you want them to spend more money. So for example, a company that's very good at that is Amazon, or is called Blue and Ball.com. You have noticed if you buy something, it also says like people who bought this also bought, and some similar items. These items are hyper personalized for you. So it are just like you will think of different ways to upsell your customer, make sure that they buy more of your services. If you're a SaaS, it could be that they buy more credits to do stuff, that they maybe add more team members to your software. Like all these ways where you could upsell them to make sure that they spend more money in your service.
Okay. And how would you measure that? I would see with metric is average spend per customer. How are they using your software? We often also see that people let you go over a certain usage limit and then say like, hey, if you want to keep at this volume, a typical Zapier is a good example there. They let you keep using that service, but then say like, hey, you're over your limits, you should upgrade.
Exactly. Very good example.
And then, imagine that customer is paying more, is really a happy customer. Then you have the last phase one, is the referral phase. We talked about it in the deal breakers canvas. Go and look for it. But again, here you have to find ways to do campaigns to let people talk about your product or your services.
Exactly.
Or set up product that it's easy to share. We have been like a really shareable, snackable bites. Also like everything that's related to a referral program. But it should be really easy for them, right? To share. And there should also be sort of really benefits tied.
Yeah, that could definitely help them to share it if you include a benefit in there. But it's also important that when you start out with referral, that you try to start out with your ambassadors. Because if you try to roll out to everyone, not everyone is like, yeah, I don't like this so much, or maybe I don't want to do this. If you start out with this, do like surveys, check out who are my ambassadors, and really bring them on, and maybe co-create a referral program together with them. Could be something that works in there. Something also very important is to maybe build in virality in your product. That it's something in there where they need to invite colleagues, where they need to like share it with people. If there's built-in virality, it helps create leverage there as well. Awesome. So referral phase, also very important phase that could really help you grow.
And so below we have highlighted the most important channels that you can use through all of these phases. Goes from targeting blocks to community building to business development to search engine marketing. So these are all examples. Of course, there are others, and feel free to come up with others. Feel free to suggest us others to add here. But again, it gives you some inspiration to use there. Again, Nicholas, sometimes customers ask us, how much should we fill this in? Is it every week? Is this an exercise every day? Is this a one-off? How should I use this in my company?
I think that the first time you do this, really spend some time on it. Definitely nail the top part. Think of a lot of different experiments. And what I like to do is that I hang it in a room so that it's always there, the canvas. And then every day, every week when I do my Monday growth meetings, we stand around the canvas and we think of new ideas, we prioritize new ideas. But it's when you bring people together with post-its, I feel that it's more fun and it inspires more creativity than doing than just like sitting in front of your computer. So definitely start with spending some time on it, and then make sure that it's part of your process. Okay,
it's really clear to me. So if I understand well, first time you print it out, big A3 format on the wall, and then afterwards, of course, you can capture all the information digitally onto our digital canvas.
Oh yeah, we have a free tool for that, right?
Yeah, we have a free tool, we forgot about it. So you can take a look at it, and it's at canvas.grow-force.com. You can fill in, or you can create an account, and then you can store all of these canvases and all the information on the canvases digitally. You can also take a look at all the videos explaining every phase.
Yeah, and work with your colleagues and stuff, invite them.
Okay.
So if you like our content, please check out our blog at blog.grow-force.com. We have a lot of, we think, interesting content about growth hacking, growth marketing, sales automation. Also check out our YouTube channel with some videos in there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if there are other topics that you want us to talk about, please let us know below in the comments.
Okay, we're eager to help you. Take care.